Hello everyone, this is Tony. Welcome to Trophy Travel Experiences. This is not really about travel, I guess it could be, but this is a product review of a new runner that I just purchased, and I didn't know anything about it. Call me kind of completely out of the know, but I was really intrigued with these On runners, and I'd never heard of them. And how I kind of got to this is that I was at the Laver Cup, which is a tennis tournament in Vancouver. Roger Federer was there, and Federer is, I guess, part owner of these shoes. They were marketed, and then I tried them on, felt they're really comfortable, and then kind of researched the story about these shoes. So I thought I'd bring it to my subscribers and viewers, and it's always interesting, I think, to know a little bit of history about the products you buy. The company was started in 2010 by a person called Olivier Bernhard, who is a Swiss Ironman champion, and he founded the company in 2010. So he started actually experimenting with prototypes with garden hoses on the bottom, and the whole idea was to soften the cushion of everyday kind of beating on your feet, and this running on clouds, and that's where he got the name On, because you're trying to run on clouds. So obviously he brought in much more skilled people who knew how to make shoes, and they actually have a pretty big market, about 40% of the Swiss market right now, about 6% of the US market in terms of high-end performance shoes. It is worn by a number of athletes, and if Roger Federer supports it, I think a lot of the tennis players on the tour have deals with this company. Seems like a lot of athletes do use these shoes, so it's probably a good thing that people that are actually athletes were involved in designing the shoe. Two technologies that they've patented. One is called the CloudTec technology. So it's a proprietary cushioning technology, which is, they say, unique. And kind of the general idea about it, and I'll kind of close up on the shoe itself, is that they have these kind of outer edges of the shoe, which when you put your weight on the shoe, it kind of flattens out the surface area and absorbs it, but then kind of bounces back, kind of the idea of the garden hose, it kind of bounces back, so it gives you the spring. The second technology they have is called the Speedboard, which actually is, I think, layers of kind of cushioning inside the shoe, which allows you to build up the energy from the weight of your shoe and then the spring back. So the whole idea of this shoe is to kind of take the weight of your feet and then kind of cushion it by spreading out the surface area, and then kind of bouncing that back right up so that you have that elasticity, and that gives you the feeling that you're actually walking on clouds. So Roger Federer got involved with his shoe in 2019, and of course he made a shoe called the Roger. And so this is actually not a unique shoe. I think you can find it. He has two kind of shoes that he produces. One is called the Advantage, which is really a court shoe that you can play, I guess, tennis with and maybe paddleball. He has other lines. And then the second one is this shoe, which is more just a walking shoe, and it's called the Spin. So this is not to be used for, playing tennis, but it's really for everyday walking, which is kind of nice to have. It's a very stylish shoe. And I'll close up on it. This is the limited edition from the Laver Cup. The Laver Cup is played every year. The last year's shoe was a little bit different, but you see this edition, what's different from the last year is that they've got a little blue and red little thing on the top, which represents the two sides. There's the world and also Europe, and so they play the red and blue in terms of that's their color scheme. And so other than that, it's a pretty, it's very much like the regular shoe that you could buy, but it's got a little bit of special uniqueness, so that's kind of nice. I started to wear the shoe, and honestly, it feels very, very comfortable. It does actually feel very light on the feet. I'll kind of close up. It's got a lot of aeration that you can, in the shoe. It gives you a lot of relaxation. It actually does feel very light on your feet, and so I actually think it's a pretty neat shoe. It looks stylish. And so the price that I paid for this at the Laver Cup was $200 Canadian. And I think that's fairly similar. There might be a little bit of slight markup, then you could buy it online. But you know, I think it's a great walking shoe and it's a great design. I'm just going to close up on the shoe to kind of highlight a couple of the features of the shoe. So the first thing is that it is the most breathable shoe. You see a lot of these things that allow it to breathe, a lot of mesh. You'll see this part on the top of the shoe that's got the Laver Cup. It's very subtle. It's blue is for Europe, and then red is for the rest of the world. So as you go around this, it's a very sleek design. Very subtle things, like it's called the Roger here, and then you've got the CloudTec technology. And then we turn this around, the base is pretty nice. And then on the other side, I actually didn't notice when I bought this, the Laver Cup and from Vancouver. So really subtle little things that they put on the shoe, which I really enjoy. If you see the heel, it looks to me that they've got both the, you'll see the Cloud technology, and then in the middle here it says the Speedboard. So I believe that refers to a couple of layers of kind of cushioning that kind of keeps all the energy of the foot and then allows it to bounce back. But the idea, as you can see, is that I think these are quite soft. So this part is quite soft. And so when you press down on it, it's going to kind of spread out a little bit more and then let you bounce. So it kind of has the feel of a garden hose a little bit. So I can see the rubberiness of it. And then this part gives you a little bit of traction. So it's, I think, a pretty well designed shoe. And looks like it's going to give me good comfort and support. They say it's also weatherproof, so I'm not sure what that means. Probably it's just, you know, you can wear it in the rain, but it's not going to be waterproof, so you can't stick your foot in water. But it looks like, you know, if you were just walking out in the rain, I don't think it's going to really mess up the shoe too much. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Until next time, safe travels.